Hello, Internet. I'm Matt.
I'm Monster Punter.
And this is the Parallax Scrolling Podcast, where we give you our perspective on video games and the news that affects them. It's been a pain in the butt kind of week or two.
Yep, work's been pretty bad for me.
Yeah. My job's been exciting in the worst ways. And on top of it, the heat has just been, like, I was not expecting it to be this hot this late in the summer.
Yeah.
I expected it would start cooling off already, but here we is. But, video games. How we do?
I beat Unicorn Overlord.
Cool.
Very good game, I think. It's one of those games where, on an individual character level, there's just too many characters. I think I talked about this before.
Yep.
You can go really deep on a few characters, or you can, unless you're making a series that's going to last hundreds of hours, if you go wide, you can't go very deep on each one. And considering everything that they were doing and the lore and how some of the things worked out, I think they did as well as you could expect. But the gameplay is good. It holds up.
Okay.
You spend most of your time theory crafting who you want to put together, what you want to give them. In certain fights, certain characters are better, not necessarily rock, paper, scissors so much, but, depending on who you pick, you might want to not send them against some teams that you encounter. But overall, really, really good, and happy to complete it. It's my second platinumed game.
Woo!
And I think I'm sensing a trend here. The only other game I've platinumed is another Vanillaware game. And I'm starting to think that Vanillaware is like good guy achievements where you can kind of complete them without having to go out of your way. There was one achievement I actually had to look up because I was like, I'm one achievement away. What is this? And it was simply like you don't give a chicken something and it gets mad and steals it from you. And so that's the achievement.
Okay. A little help for anybody else trying to figure that one out. Don't give a chicken something. Okay.
Yeah. There's a point in the game where goats. I'm sorry, goats. Jeez, why am I thinking chickens? I'm thinking Zelda, but they're goats. Anyway, you're trying to get goat milk, and you give them something, and you get goat milk. And if you don't give this one who's kind of ornery, goat the feed or whatever it is, I can't remember off the top of my head. He steals it from you.
Okay.
And that's an achievement. Congratulations.
Yeah. There you go. Give you some gamer tips here.
And depending on who you make your character marry, because you do want to do that, because it enhances the equipment. There's just a couple pieces of equipment. It does change the ending ever so slightly.
So moral or life lesson here: get married. It changes your equipment.
Yes, it does.
I don't know how you take that, but whatever. Well,
isn't that? Wait a second. Hold on a second.
What?
Isn't that why people always get married? I mean, you get enhancements to your equipment. You can go out and adventure better. I mean, come on.
No.
You're supposed to roll with the joke. Jeez.
Yeah. No.
This guy doesn't know the program.
No. I know the program. The program is to ignore all the stupid jokes and move forward.
Man, you don't know how humor works.
Sure. Well, in terms of gaming for me, I have been working on Chris Tales some more. I'm actually approaching the final chapter, so definitely be talking about the end of that next episode for sure. Still liking the game. As you and I have talked about before, I'm just kind of done with morally ambiguity in my video games. Like, is he really the bad guy? I mean, look at it from his perspective. He tried to kill people. He's bad. No one questions the moral compass of Ganondorf. And I will use that as an example as long as I can, because he's evil. Everything about him is evil. And that's how the game plays out. That's how Zelda plays out. So there's just no question.
Well,
And yeah,
I don't prescribe to Matt's opinion on this one. I kind of like complex villains.
I'm not saying
So,
I don't like complex villains. I'm saying I'm tired of every single RPG coming out with, oh, well, consider how they felt about the situation.
well,
How about I don't? How about I just get to play a game where I'm the good guy and I get to fight the bad guy and then there's a happy ending? Like, why do I always have to question the motives of every single character in a video game?
in
That's
all
exhausting.
in all fairness, what he's talking about is literally. I haven't played Chris Tales, but he's told me this much already. They actually asked that you actually ask an upfront question. What do you think of their, you know?
Yeah. So every city is a chapter in this game, and you have to go through the city, completing side quests and the main story at the same time. And once you complete the city, you have to make a decision on something. After that, you make this decision. There's a moment you get to talk to your party, and you just run around asking them, "Did I make the right decision? Did we make the right decision?" Why are we so hesitant about this stuff? That's probably the only thing that's truly frustrating about this game for me. It's just like, how about we stick with our convictions and do what is the right thing and not question that.
I think what you're really mad about is the upfront nature of the questions.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact that this happens too often in video games anymore, and I just feel like it's a trope that's really getting old.
Well, I don't mind complex villains where were they really evil in the things that they do. I guess it's the age old. Do the means matter? The way you do things, do the
Right.
means matter, or do the ends justify the means you did? That's where I think it really is.
Well, the where I'm coming from with it is, so like Bowser, Robotnik, they are question. You have to question their motives because they're not inherently evil characters. Like they may have been in the beginning, but now, especially like with Sonic Frontiers and Mario Odyssey, are they really true evil villains? So there's questions there. And I get that, and that doesn't mean that's bad. What I'm saying is, like, when you sit there and you watch somebody clearly like kill people or do something equally despicable for their own selfish gain, and everyone calls them out on it, and then you watch this, something happen to this person, and then everyone's like, well, you really should look at things from their point of view. Like, to bring that into the real world, that's like saying, hey, those guys who just ran into that building and blew up the orphanage? You really got to see things from their point of view. No, I don't. I really don't. He ran into an orphanage and blew it up.
I think part of it is how much backstory and other things that you learn about the villain along the way matters.
Right, but
I don't need all my villains. Maybe a few villains every now and again that are like cartoonishly evil is nice.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. But like especially in indie games anymore, every like indie game in some direction is like, well, is the villain really evil? Here's an idea. How about they're just evil? You want to know? You want to know a game that I know flat out that the villain is evil? Hollow Knight.
Okay.
The Radiants, the true enemy of the game, when you find them, they're evil.
Okay.
And you fight them and you win. But everything else is morally gray, and that's fine. But like, when you give me a villain who's supposed to be the main villain, the main antagonist to the game, constantly having me question my own morals and ethics, because maybe this guy just had a bad day and didn't get to pet his puppy, that doesn't excuse them murdering people.
I don't know. I don't know about you, but if I don't get to pet the puppies, people have to die.
Exhausting talking to you sometimes. Absolutely exhausting. So you know who I'm going to talk to instead? I'm going to talk to you, our viewers. It's time to answer some comments.
Man.
I'm moving away from you.
Man, oh man. Try to make a good segue, obviously.
Yeah, I made an amazing segue, and it's getting away from you. So here we go. We got 2 comments, one from Dragon Knight and one from Tom. So I'm going to start with Tom's first because it's a little bit more straightforward. Tom says, awesome Metroidvanias that you played. Thank you. I will definitely check out The Last Faith eventually. You should. As you await Hollow Knight Silk Song, have you tried the best substitute for it, 9 Souls, yet? No, I'll have to take a look at that one. I didn't even know that one was on the radar. So thank you for mentioning that one. Also, I highly recommend picking up Castlevania Dominus Collection for $25. That includes the 3 newest 2D Castlevania games. I've played all 3 of them. Aria of Sorrow? Yeah, Aria of Sorrow.
The Game Boy Advanced ones.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying Aria of Sorrow is probably like one of my favorite Metroidvanias in the Castlevania series.
Mm-hmm.
So Dawn of Sorrow was okay, but I think it'll be interesting because I want to play it on PC because it's already out for Steam. So I kind of wonder like how do the binding summons work in the game on the computer, because with the DS version you had to draw on with the stylus on the screen, and you had to do it fast enough, otherwise you didn't kill bosses. Like once you killed the boss and depleted its health, this rune circle appeared, and you had to follow the symbol perfectly, or not perfectly, but as close as perfect as possible. And if you didn't do it fast enough, the boss came back with full health.
That sounds annoying.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was an exercise in anxiety that I didn't need. But Aria of Sorrow was great, and so I love that storyline and that character. But Portrait of Ruin's amazing. That one's on there on the Dominus Collection. Portrait of Ruin was great. Order of Ecclesia was also amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely out of the 3 of those, I like Portrait of Ruin the best. So yeah, thanks Tom. That was a great comment. All right, so Dragon Knight. So if you remember from last episode, Dragon Knight said, "Hey, why don't you do your top 10s of these lists?" And I said no. Flat out. And I said no because I didn't have those systems as a kid. So I said, hey, well, why don't you give us yours? And Dragon Knight did.
In fairness, I didn't have those systems when I was growing up either, and I've never been a very big portable gamer. I've always been a traditional console gamer.
I'm going to call you out.
PC.
I'm going to call you out on that just because.
Okay, I played a ton of Monster Hunter.
Yes, you did. Okay, we played a ton of Monster Hunter on the PlayStation Portable. We played a ton of it.
That was the only place to play it. That's why we played it there.
Yeah, but we still played a ton of it. So you still played it a lot on.
But I'm not really outside that game. I don't do much, and that was how many years ago was that now?
We don't talk about how old we are.
Yeah.
Oh, also the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Neo Geo Pocket Color's cool.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's a portable system, so you kind of got to give it credit.
Okay.
That might be one. That might be one. We could probably talk about that one, but let's be honest. I only really have like my top 1 game on Neo Geo Pocket Color.
One. That's the only game you played.
It's all I needed to play.
The Sonic game on it's really good.
I played a little bit of that. But no, my favorite one was Biomotor Unitron.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Okay, anyways.
Surprising that's never come out on anything else.
Actually, it's come out when they re-released the Neo Geo Pocket Color editions on Steam.
Oh,
it's on there.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very excited to get that one eventually. But anyways, we got to get back to Dragon's comment here. So Dragon Knight said, I'll give you my top 5 for each system. For the Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Advanced.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. We'll start with the Game Boy. Number 1, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. That's a great game. That's a fun game.
Didn't play it. I
actually like the fact you can jump. Like getting
you can jump?
Yeah, once you have the feather item, it allows you to jump. And there's do you remember in the original Zelda when you go into like the basement of dungeons and there's like it looks like a little 2D section, but you have to you still have to move yourself. So it has the dungeons have places like that, but they're platforming, and so if you have the feather, you can actually jump and move across platforms. At the same time, you can also use the jump on the 3D overworld, so it's pretty cool. It was a great game. Metroid 2: Return of Samus. I like the remastered version better. And I'll even go as far as to say that the how do they call it, AMSR2 or something like that. Uh, Somebody made a remake where they made their own version of Metroid 2. It's fantastic, very well done, but based off this game. So glad you liked it. Number 3, Dr. Franken.
I don't know what that is.
I have no idea what that game is.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
We have to look it up right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna continue with the list for the Game Boy while he looks this up just so we can look at that. Number 4, Wario Land.
Is it Dr. Frankenstein?
Nope, Dr. Franken. There you go. Yep. Boom. So Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, pretty cool. And then TMNT Follow the Foot Clan. So okay. All right, let's look at some Dr. Franken. What the?
That is just the
What in the world?
cartridge.
No. There was some screen.
That's the cartridge.
Yeah.
But
there's a screen right there. Dr. Franken.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. What in the?
So it's a platformer where you're playing as Frankenstein.
Or Dr. Frank. Interesting. Might have to look into that just to see like what it's all about. It looks neat.
Yeah, for Game Boy, the graphics are something.
Yeah. Now, of course, this is also in the pure black and white mode. No hints of green, which was hard for me, but you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a cool list. Game Boy Color. Legend of Zelda Oracle of Series.
Seasons.
Well, it's seasons and ages. He's liking both of them.
I gotcha.
He's pulling at me.
Okay, I gotcha.
He's pulling at me. Yeah, no, those are some really cool games. I've actually had a chance to play those as an adult. Those are actually pretty cool games. Number 2, Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Number 3, Super Mario Brothers Deluxe.
Wait. When you say Donkey Kong, is it just plain old Donkey Kong, or
I believe
it
it
Donkey
is
Kong Country Games?
I think it's just the original Donkey Kong.
Okay.
If you want to look it up, you can.
Okay.
But okay, number 3, Super Mario Brothers Deluxe.
Okay.
All right. Number 4, Kirby's Dream Land 2. Cool. And number 5, Castlevania Legends. That's an interesting one. That's actually on one of the Castlevania collections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one where you're playing as the Kid Dracula?
No. You play as, I think this is the one I'm thinking of. You play as Sophia.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Sophia Belmont, I think is the name. But yeah, I know I know there is one of that nature, and yeah, pretty cool. All right, here we go. Your Game Boy Advance games. Number 1, Metroid Fusion. Love that game. No, seriously, like it did the one thing portably that no other Metroid game could do, and that was tell a cohesive story like Super Metroid in the same way that Super Metroid would kind of behave, but still have its own like unique spin on things. Very well done. Very cool. Love that game. Number 2, Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. That was actually a fun one. I think that was one of my first portable Zeldas I played. That was definitely pretty cool. Number 3, Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
I mean, Super Mario Brothers 3. It's Super Mario.
Game.
Yeah. Number 4, Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Okay.
I remember hearing about that one. Yeah. And then number 5, Mario Kart Super Circuit.
Mario Kart's a good game.
Yeah, good series.
The older ones, anyway. I can't speak for the newer ones.
Well, I mean, the newer ones are just the older ones, just fancier graphics and stuff like that. But yeah, no, this is cool. Real good list. Thanks, Dragon.
Yes, thank you.
Or should I call you DK?
Ooh. No.
Dragon Knight. DK. Donkey Kong.
Yeah, he's now Donkey Kong.
Dumb kid.
No.
Yeah. Okay. You're not a dumb kid. You are an adult now.
We know this guy. Actually, we know this guy.
And we mentioned that last episode. He's an IRL friend of many years, so I get to pick on him. And yeah, but we appreciate the comments and we appreciate everything you guys have been sending us. again, any comments, questions, suggestions, news stories you want us to cover, anything like that, please let us know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, like, comments, share, subscribe, bells, whistles, money, whatever the algorithm wants of you, do it. Because it just, the reason we care about it is because it gets into the ears of more people. And it's just kind of cool to know that there are more people listening.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Time for news.
What was that?
The news beeper.
Okay.
You know, the old timey news stuff.
I gotcha.
The old timey news stuff.
I gotcha.
Okay. So, real quick, I got two news stories that are kind of brief and neat, and then you got a couple news stories we're gonna go over, and then the last thing we'll do is we'll talk about the Nintendo Direct.
Sure.
All right. So first off, they're already out apparently. By the way, because I did a little search for these, they already exist.
Mm-hmm.
GameStop has finally decided to do something that has never been done before.
Never.
When they were called Funkoland did they ever try to do this.
Well, in Funkoland's defense, having worked at a Funkoland, there was no classic games at that point because everything was still kind of current.
No, there were still old stuff,
I guess maybe Atari and television and stuff like that, maybe, but
yeah,
they didn't carry it actually.
Anyhow, what we're talking about is that GameStop has launched some new stores called GameStop Retro. And in these stores, they're going to be selling games from the past 40 years of gaming. Pretty cool. Problem is, they're like the nearest one from us is like 20 to 30 miles away, like 25, 30 miles away. And for me, I just can't afford that kind of time to just go look at old school video games. Like, I'd have to make a day of this, and I don't know if I want to.
I'm going to go check it out once.
I mean, yes, I think the novelty of it is cool. But I think if they really want this to succeed, they need to open up more stores.
What he's not telling you is we discussed earlier today about going to a hole-in-the-wall place roughly 30 to 40 miles away.
Yeah, that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I thought I talked about it.
Yeah.
And he said okay, by the way. He said okay.
I said okay because today's been kind of a bleh day for me. But just the concept of, hey, I really want to see if they got some old school retro games. I'm not going to like try and do this every week. You know, it's like that kind of thing. So it'd be cooler if there were more stores because that would make it more exciting and more interesting for people. So I think it's cool. We'll see what happens. Obviously, people are already kind of like upset about this because why not? They're on the internet. They're going to get upset about stuff. Whatever. I think it's an interesting idea. I hope it works out well for them because we need more retro game stores.
We do.
It's all about game preservation, baby.
I don't know if I've made this point before, but I think to a certain degree, GameStop gets a bad rap on the prices they pay for games, and in general, any pawn shop or type of that genre,
secondhand store, they all kind of operate the same way. People complain about taking a game they bought for $60, $70, and they're only getting $20 to $30 when you go to GameStop. And what people don't understand, I'm not defending GameStop, I'm just explaining the business model a little bit. When you're trading money for convenience, you could just walk in, trade the game in, or sell it, and you get instant gratification. You don't have to go through to the trouble of posting it online and shipping it and all that kind of stuff. If you're willing to do all that, you make more money. Also, they have overhead. They have a physical location. They got to pay their people. They got to still run the other aspects of the business. So they have all this overhead. And so that's also what's driving down the prices that they pay for you for games. It's just the reality of the situation. They got a business to run. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It sucks. I don't think you should sell your games to GameStop if you want my personal opinion. Sell them online. Make more money. But places like this need to exist for people who don't want to go through the hassle. Right, but you're also talking about just the selling end. And to kind of like give another side of the coin here. Back when they were still Funko Land, my brother tried to take in his copy of Altered Beasts for the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
And he wanted to just sell it because he didn't want money. He wanted store credit. He was going to use it to get something else.
Sure.
They offered him 4 cents.
Yeah.
But they were charging people like $35 for that game.
I can't see them paying 4 cents and turn around.
That's what they were doing at the time. That was Funko Land though. So I don't know what was the practice at that point, but it was like,
I don't know. All I'm saying is that there's trade-offs, and that's what gets lost in all this talk about how much GameStop sucks. And I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of GameStop myself, but I get why they pay what they pay for stuff when you trade it in, and when you take it all into consideration, it's they're basically taking the profit you would have made if you had sold the game yourself, because they're doing all the legwork for it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I see parts of it and I can understand parts of it, but there's also other parts that don't make sense.
Yeah.
But anyways, I hope that GameStop Retro does well, and well enough that people can get back into retro gaming and keep game preservation alive, because that's what we're really about.
I would love to see them carry things like the Evercade.
That'd be kind of cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of keeping things alive,
mm-hmm.
my next story, my last story really, before the direct, is Remedy. You know me. I love Music Remedy. I love Control. I love Alan Wake. It's good games. And I love that universe. Still got to get through it. Still got to play Alan Wake 2. Looking forward to that. But they were having some issues about getting Control 2 out. Last time they got Control 1 out, it was through 505 Games, and they don't work with them anymore. Well, Annapurna Interactive, if you've heard that name before, you know that they have done a lot of like walking simulator games, puzzle simulator games, but they do really like heavy in the head kind of stuff. Well, Annapurna is partnering with Remedy to co-publish Control 2 and get that out. Even further, taking a step even further, and trying to get the stories of Control and Alan Wake into other medias like TV and beyond. I'm excited. I'm excited. That's fantastic news. I love that universe. I love the way they tell their stories. And for Remedy to be able to bring, like, I guarantee you, if they actually come up with an actual Night Springs TV show, I am watching that. I am completely watching that. Oh, man. So I'm excited for that news. That's kind of cool stuff for me. What about you? What you got?
All right. So recently, as of the recording of this episode, not only it is not even 4 days past the release of this game, and they're shutting down the studio. Visions of Mana Studio is shutting down just after releasing its game.
Now, how do you pronounce that? Is that Oka? Uka?
Oka. Yeah,
okay.
Oka Studios' debut game just launched.
All right.
And so, for people who love the Mana series, this is a tough pill to swallow. I bought the game because my wife wants to play it.
Right.
She likes the Mana series, actually. She loves the Mana series, and so it's really weird that this game just released. They're not even going to give it a chance to make money, and then shut it down right away. They're saying that the lack of big hits, but this could have been a big hit. You could have kept on hold of it a little bit longer to see if it was a big hit, and then go from there.
Well, what's weird is this isn't even this isn't even Square Enix.
I know.
That's what's so weird about it.
They're big investors in it,
right?
So.
It's Tencent and NetEase. They're the ones who are trying to scale this back. So that's dumb.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like it's like how would they have done if like one of the Marvel movies came out and then they just decided to shut the studio that made that movie down. like before it even released or just released. Like, hey, it's
Yeah.
opening weekend, you're fired. Why? That's a dumb business prop.
Yeah, it's going to hurt sales of the game too, because people who maybe want a sequel or would normally want a sequel, there's not one coming, at least for a while.
It could also boost sales if they're like, oh, this game's never going to be made again. We got to get, because there's going to be no more prints. It's now a rare game.
Yeah, maybe. Speaking of games, the complete opposite of what we just talked about. Yep. Apparently, there's an Astrobot sequel, and it's not even out yet. It's already being
or talked about,
and probably made. I'm not a big platformer anymore, but I'm getting Astrobot this week. I'm really looking forward to it.
And Astrobot's gonna be fun.
And the controller looks adorable.
The controller looks adorable, and you know what? I'm making a special note for myself for editor Matt. Find a picture of the controller and just paste it here in the video. People need to know how amazingly cute this controller is. I love the color scheme. I love the blue and the white, and the fact that the eyeballs light up in the touchpad. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
I want that controller.
I'm gonna be playing this game for sure. It looks great.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to it right away, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Speaking of another game I'm going to play.
Well, but that's also part of the next big thing.
Yes.
So he's got a game he's really excited about, and it's all part of our Nintendo Direct coverage. So let's get into this, because this is literally the first one, and it's probably one of the most important ones we need to talk about. And it'll probably give us the most time to talk about it too. Go ahead.
So, in what seems like a further partnering of SNK and Capcom, Capcom has announced the Fighting Collection 2. And it has some bangers on here.
It's an amazing list.
Yeah.
And this was announced on the Nintendo Direct, because it's coming out for the Switch in 2025.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will come out sooner, because I don't want it on my Switch. I would rather have this on my computer or a PlayStation or whatever. But let's see.
Yeah. Capcom vs SNK, and it's the Pro version. Capcom vs SNK 2. Which is amazing.
That game's so good.
Capcom Fighting Evolution, which actually
I don't think it ever came out.
It's not a very well-known game, but it's based on. I was watching videos and everything. It's the same. It looks like the game engine from, or at least graphically speaking, the game engine from Street Fighter 3.
Right. The one screenshot I saw, or video clip I saw, was they had the Lion Man from Red Earth versus I think Dimitri from Darkstalkers. And I'm like, this game I have to play. I has to play this one.
And then probably the biggest surprises to me, Power Stone and Power Stone 2. I know people who've been asking for a Power Stone 3 forever, and Capcom hasn't touched that series or has ignored that series as if they're Valve. They can't Valve can't talk to 3 or count to 3. Count to 3.
You having a moment there?
Yes, I am.
Are you smelling toast? Are you okay? Well, but here's the thing: if Capcom had really buckled down on the Power Stone series, I could see the Power Stone series being combative with Smash Brothers, because they're kind of the same type of thing. It's a fighting game, but you pick up items and it affects how the fight goes. But at the same time, Power Stone was 3D, where Smash Brothers is 2D. And so it would have been actually a really cool rivalry, I think.
But Power Stone 2 got such good reviews when it came out. Everybody loved that game.
I love Power Stone 1. Power Stone 1 was my game.
Power Stone was a launch title for the Dreamcast, if I'm not mistaken.
So here's a fun fact about Power Stone 1. Did you know that the pilot character,
Falcon, or is it Falco?
It's Falcon.
Falcon. Okay.
It's Falcon. So his name is Falcon, right? His actual name is based off a word in German. In the Japanese version, his name is based off because he's a German character.
Okay.
His German name could not be said in America without being very offensive. I'll tell you this, though. The German word means to strike. So instead of calling him Striker, because his name was they called him Falcon. Missed opportunities. Anyhow, it's still a fun series.
Yeah, and looking forward to playing that.
Absolutely. And then obviously Plasma Sword or Star Gladiator as we knew it.
Yeah.
Because Plasma Sword for us was Star Gladiator 2.
Yeah. And then Project Justice, which is the Rival Schools sequel. So really
if you played Rival Schools, you'll know you want to play Project Justice. That was a great series.
They are all, and these are all going to be playable online. Rollback netcode.
Yep. And there's one more you missed. You missed Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper.
Ah, that's right. Yes.
So Street Fighter Alpha, man, that series was awesome.
Yeah.
That's what Street Fighter Alpha is, the series that got us the games like Marvel versus Street Fighter and X-Men versus Street Fighter, or even the Capcom, Marvel versus Capcom, that whole series with all the crazy over the top super moves and everything. That originally comes from the Street Fighter Alpha series. So,
but the thing that gets me the most excited is the fact that there might be a Capcom versus SNK 3, and I've been wanting that for 20 years.
Stop telling people how old we are.
By the way, if you haven't seen the Critical Art level 3 super for Terry from the Street Fighter 6. Ooh. It is the best Critical Art super in Street Fighter, and he's not even out yet. I'm looking forward to it. I will show it to you after this.
Okay. But yeah, so this is like one of the games they announced. This is a very cool list. Side note, because we're talking about the Capcom Fighting Collection, the Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, if you get the physical copy, comes with a comic book. So that's kind of cool. So I wanted to throw that aside in, but let's go over the rest of the list here, because some of these games we're really not going to talk about. Most of you have probably already seen the direct anyways.
Talk about what is like
what grabs us, like we've been doing in the past. So let's start with I'm sure you want to talk about this one first.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you take that one?
Obviously the star of the show was
Trails
in the Sky first chapter being remade. All 12 seconds or so of it that appeared in the direct. But what they did show looks really good. And I hope it sells well enough for them to make the others, because it's been confirmed, at least at this point, as of the time of us recording, that the second chapter or third chapter are not in development right now. So I hope it requires
sales in order for it to...
Really? Yeah, I really hope. And as far as the Trail series goes, there are different points where you can jump in and you can definitely have a lot of fun. And there'll be a certain someone who listens to this podcast that disagrees with me vehemently. But I think the best point to jump into the Trail series is the first one. And I understand it's daunting. There's 12 plus games right now. But
you mean I have to read?
But as far as like the story and everything is concerned, it's the most ambitious story in gaming, in my opinion. It's the fact that you can play one. I mean, there's different storylines and arcs and stuff that happen, but there is like an overarching thing happening across all of them. And the fact that the long form story telling is just great. And I think this is great because prior to now, the Trails in the Sky is only available on PC. This will give people who don't have that don't game on PC or don't have a PC an opportunity to play those first games too. Yeah. And granted, you could play those on an emulator, or you could play them if you had a PSP, but those are just not accessible nowadays. So I think this is really great.
So the next game, we actually already kind of briefly went over.
Yes.
It's Castlevania Dominus Collection.
All right, next.
No, hold on. Because I want to go into it a little bit more. So, as we were talking about it, it's going to have Portrait of Ruin, Dawn of Sorrow, and Order of Ecclesia. Cool. What it also has, and this is what's important, it has Haunted Castle, the arcade game that really kind of started the motion. And even better, there's going to be a remastered version on this thing also.
I think
It looks good. It looks really good.
I also think a physical version has been confirmed as well.
If there is, I'm probably going that route then. Because that's awesome. Following up with that on this list, I'm just going to go off the IGN list because they already have it all there. So thank you, IGN. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster arrives in March of 2025. I think it's already out on Steam. I'm not sure.
Is it? I don't know.
I will have to find out, but yes, please.
Yeah.
Because I will save Gremio. I will save Gremio. Moving on.
All right. Well.
Sorry. I have to move. I didn't get to the first time through, and it really stuck with me. Okay. Sometimes you get a second chance to heal trauma in your life, and this is mine. All right. So
again, I'm gonna laugh.
Shut up. It's not that hard. It's actually not that hard to save them once you know how to save them. So, Capcom Fighting Collection, we already talked about that. Don't care about that one. Don't care about that one. I do want to talk about this one. I know you hate this game.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about it because I think it's a cool concept of a game and something I might even be willing to try again. Tales of Grace's F is getting a remaster, and that's going to be coming out at the beginning of the year.
As a Trails of fan, there are ones that I adore, and there are ones that are better off being consigned to the dustbin of history. And this is one of them, in my opinion.
What's another one?
Oh gosh, what's the one on the PlayStation that came out before Abyss? Legendia. Legendia can go to the dustbin of history.
See, and this is why we don't take recommendations from Monster Punter.
Oh, whatever. My recommendation.
Legendia is awesome. You have it is so like with Tales of the Abyss, we both agree Tales of the Abyss is probably the best Tales game.
Yes.
All right. You do have to get through an annoying main character for the first third of the story.
I think the point being, hold on a second. The point being is that the character story arc in Abyss, where you go from and where you end up, is one of the best points of the whole game.
So he's trying to defend himself, but what I'm trying to say is you have to deal with the main character being annoying the first third of the game.
He's very much a kid in the beginning.
The same thing with Tales of Legendia. In order for you really kind of get through the characters of the first third of the game, and then the game really opens up. Granted, that's not a selling point for a game, but the combat is good, and it ends up being a fun game. Moving on. Civ 7. Why is Civ 7 coming to Switch?
I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, that's a PC game.
Yeah, I'm like, the only reason I wanted to bring it up is why is that coming out?
Because the Switch has over 100 million in sales.
I guess that game is gonna look like doo doo.
Yeah. The picture here kind of looks like doo doo.
It does. Sea of Stars. This has literally nothing to do with Switch, but they announced it on the Nintendo Direct. We're going to talk about it. Sea of Stars is getting a DLC. And, I love that game. So more Sea of Stars means more awesome. And to follow that up, Dragon Quest III is getting an HD remake.
Yep.
That game looks gorgeous for what it is. I'm excited for that, too. Let's see what else we got here. Kind of, I used to be into the Atelier series, but I'm really not now, so I could kind of pass on those. Fitness Boxing 3. What's kind of exciting about Fitness Boxing 3 is there's going to be a mode for people to sit down.
It's okay.
No, and I say that because
it's good for people who are in wheelchairs and stuff. Yeah.
Well, that and for people who literally can't stand for very long, like older people, this is an awesome thing for them to still get exercise and have fun. So I'm excited for that one.
Metal Slug Tactics looks like it could be fun.
Well, of course, because you have the three magical words: metal, slug, and tactics.
Yeah.
So it looked amazing from the beginning. Star Overdrive actually looked kind of cool. I'm actually kind of surprised by that one. With the surfboard or the hoverboard in space kind of thing with the combat. it looks fun. I don't know how it'll be truly, but you know.
Pico Park 2, I don't know if this game is going to be any good or not, but it just looks like an Atari game. High-res Atari game.
So you have to actually look at Pico Park 1. The graphics are the exact same. It's not the graphics that make that game. It is literally that is an 8-player puzzle platformer, and it really requires you to work together. It's actually very well done. Tetris. This is very exciting for me. Okay, Tetris is celebrating its 40th anniversary with Tetris Forever. If you've seen all the games to come, I'm not even going to go into it all, but there's so many games in Tetris Forever that are coming out. Some that never got released stateside. They look awesome. It looks cool. If you love Tetris in any way, be excited for that. So,
practice your rolling skills.
Yes, your T-spins, everything. Get ready. Be on top of it. Let's see what else. I don't know. Is there anything else grabbing you? Oh yeah, Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope DX. I have to talk about this because is it going to be the exact same game? Yes, with one key difference. Instead of up to 2 playable characters, there's going to be 20 distinctive playable characters to Shovel Knight. That is awesome. And if it comes out to Steam, which I really hope it does, I will add it to my treasure trove because that's where I have all my Shovel Knight games. I would love to put it there because I love Shovel Knight. I don't know, anything else really kind of grabbing you? Okay, no. Do you want to talk about Buff Strong Sad?
There's a Buff Strong Sad out there. Just know that.
There's a game called Date Everything that lets you date everything, and one of the characters looks like Strong Sad if he went to the gym. If you know who Strong Sad is, you should subscribe to homestarrunner.com on YouTube. Awesome stuff. Honestly, beyond that, that's really it. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of other games on there that might pique your interest. I was about to say pico your interest because of the Pico. Yeah, that would have been funny, but no. But yeah, if there's anything on there that we didn't cover that you're interested about, first off, awesome. I'm glad you're interested in something. You're allowed to be interested in stuff we're not interested in, and vice versa. But tell us in the comments. Tell us anything in the comments. Keep this conversation going. We love talking to you guys. So with that, we're done.
We are done.
Yeah. We're going to go watch a super critical art of Terry here in a second.
We are.
And before we end, one last reminder. We were going to do it today. We are going to be doing it when time is a little more available to us. But we will be doing Monster Plays Super Metroid.
I was hoping he'd forget about that.
I am never forgetting about that. We're doing it. So
punishment.
You'll be fine. We'll go through it together, and we'll put that video out when we get the time for that.
Okay.
So until the next time we talk to you folks, have yourselves a fantastic week. Have an awesome time playing your video games. And we'll see you in the next one.
Take care.
Later.